Hello, and thank you very much for joining me today. Today, I will be presenting a presentation regarding the HR analytics for Bright Lights Bank organization. This presentation and discussion will focus on how we can implement and improve data-driven processes amongst the organization, including performance of individuals in the workforce, and of course, throughout the organization overall. Also, the presentation will give options that are available for the organization to measure and track feedback and analytics, which we will discuss further as well. With this presentation, briefly, we will touch on HR analytics and metrics amongst the organization, talent analytics, onboarding, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. The analytics processes will actually focus on HR analytics. With HR analytics, it can be known as people analytics or workforce analytics. So basically, it is the process of collecting, analyzing, and using HR data to improve business outcomes and make sure that we make the informed decisions about the workforce. So this actually includes everyone from not only the workforce, but specifically our employees. That can be our remote employees, on site, freelancers, consultants, and basically overall, the analytics focus will be to ensure that the full HR function will be covered and actually process for any analytic concerns that we have. We will be actually breaking down the HR metrics for the following. So, for one, there will be an employee performance dashboard, which will consist of recruitment, diversity and inclusion, workforce dashboard, and talent management. So, these are the five that we actually will actually have a focus on. And then we will be able to add more throughout the process if needed. Now, let's discuss analytics with employee turnover rate. To calculate an employee turnover rate, basically, I will be using or actually have used the following formula. So, for an example, with the employee turnover rate, with us having a company with just 50 employees at this time, let's say five employees left the company, the turnover rate will be 10%. So, with the calculation, this means that about 10% of the company's employees left in 1 year. So, just to get the numbers um, of that, what we can use, or actually what I have used, is the number of employees who left, and that's divided by the average number of employees, which is the 50 times that by 100. We can also use the formula to calculate, let's say, general employee turnover, or you can replace like total departures with layoffs or voluntary separations to get more specific insights. So basically, just understanding the turnover rate, it will help our organization to identify problems that need to be addressed. That way, we can keep our best people that we have and just prevent losing a lot of money as well. So, since we do only have 50 employees, I know we have discussed that we want to grow the company. So, the good thing about it, for this particular area, we can definitely have a lot of focus on employee turnover. So that way, once again, we can prevent losing a lot of money. Another thing is we can also use employee data. So attendance records, even diving into employee surveys, which I would discuss more shortly to identify groups with higher turnover rates, understanding absenteeism, and plan initiatives to support employee well-being. Those are all areas that we will focus on just to dive a little bit deeper into really understanding employee data. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, just known as DEI, is very important. There are many ways to measure the success of our organization's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. So that will actually include pairing up with our talent recruitment team just to ensure that as for sourcing and finding the right candidates, we do have a diverse background of different ethnicities and to actually improve and diversify the workforce. With the chart that we have right here, it does show diversity amongst all of our workers, and it does actually give you a reference on um, what ethnicity are at its highest. And going down to, for an example, for our white or Caucasian workers, they are the highest. The Hispanic is second, and then from Black, Asian, and then for other groups. So the good thing about it, we do have some really great workers, from all backgrounds. But the goal is, like I said, we just want to make sure that we do diversify our workforce. One thing that we also wanted to focus on as well is just ensure that with the DEI success, it can be measured using both quantitative and qualitative methods. The quantitative methods will include analyzing hiring outcomes, pay equity, employee experience, and retention trends. And the qualitative methods can include asking research questions about the company culture. So with that, we will be using, like I said, different methods just to ensure that we are fulfilling and succeeding the goals and to make sure that the underrepresented population among our organization is actually taken very seriously. We will be implementing feedback forms, including new hire and onboarding forms, just to make sure that we are productive and the processes that we are using are being effective. And if they're not effective, we will know areas where there are room for growth. There are plenty of methods for collecting employee feedback. So, from our interviews to suggestion boxes, the forms will be, like I said, very great to have just to make sure we do have constructive feedback. We do know many employees have expressed that they are uncomfortable giving honest feedback. So the forms is something that we will ensure that all of our employees have, and especially our new hires. These will be consisting of anonymous surveys. So that way we can solve the fear of repercussions and allow our team to gather candid employee feedback about their onboarding process. We will be using such as SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, and there are other templates that we have in consideration as well. With this feedback, we will be able to measure for this quarter and moving forward for the rest of the year, including going into 2025, some of the process that we can improve on. Some of the relevant questions that we are going to be asking is just to focus on how valuable was the new hire onboarding at our company. And before the first day at work, we just want to know if they have received all the necessary information, such as onboarding schedule. How was the onboarding scheduling, and how did that process work? Also, how clear was the information presented during the onboarding? We want to make sure that the information is clear, precise, and very understandable for their new jobs. Another way, another pointer, should onboarding have been longer or shorter, or was it just about right? We want to make sure that the processes in the timely fashion, it's actually on a level of if it needs to be improved or if it needs to be adjusted in any other fashion. And then also another question that we have is how can we improve the onboarding experience overall? That's a that question is very wide and wide and broad, so it will give the individuals that are filling out the forms just their opinion, and then that way we can really dive in and just see if there's any adjustments or if there's similar feedback from quite a few employees, just to see if that's something that are great greater in numbers that we would need to improve. So we're really looking forward to presenting these forms, and we will be measuring the feedback and discussing the feedback with you as well. Having goals for performance for the organization is really vital. So, as we discussed, just getting feedback regarding the forms and other options of feedback that we are gaining for employees and new hires, our goals is just to ensure that the talent acquisition and recruitment processes that we are basically on a path of success for that. So, moving forward, we are going to ensure that there is a 20% growth in our candidate database. The goal is actually to satisfy that within the next 6 months. For the next quarter, we would like to reduce the average time to fill. So that's going to be by 15% for all of the positions that we have available for the upcoming quarter. And then another thing is the focus, once again, let's just work on also increasing the positive online reviews, feedback. The goal is by 20%. And another goal is to ensure, as we discussed, the underrepresented candidates. The hiring process for that, we're looking at 25% over the next 6 months. And then increasing the utilization of recruitment analytics, we're looking at by 30%. So, with that, the talent acquisition process, we are looking for within the next 3 months for increasing a lot of these numbers here in this area for recruitment. So, our final takeaway for this discussion is to just overall improve performance. Performance is key. Once again, we do have a small business, we have 50 employees. We are aware that the goal is to improve the workforce, a diverse workforce, and just to ensure that we are meeting our numbers as a company as whole. We definitely, once again, want to incorporate HR analytics, have discussions on some of the systems. Maybe we can incorporate the best option for a small business and measure and improve performance overall. That is from different sectors of what we just discussed, different areas. And that is amongst the individuals and for the organization as a whole. And then diversity, equity, and inclusion. Once again, we just want to make sure that is something that is being looked at and moving the needle in that area to ensure that we are continuing providing great candidates for the organization and just have a diverse background. Talent acquisition is something that's always is going to be looked upon because once again, the performance with that is needed to ensure that we are continue to drive the organization with the best candidates. And then we will make sure that employee performance is looked upon just to make sure that all employees are doing their best and also having their needs met with any areas of improvement. And then the onboarding process, we just want to ensure that we are streamlining the process for that so our employees can have a great and successful onboarding process. And just to ensure that everyone is comfortable with joining our organization. So I just want to thank you. I know our time is limited. A lot of things kind of was maybe crammed, or we had to shorten a few things just to ensure that we can discuss where we're at and just some of the needs and processes that we have and that will be improved. But I would like to continue this conversation so we can talk more about these areas and more. And you are more than welcome, of course, to reach out to me at any time. Any other additional questions, concerns, or ideals, I am definitely here for you. And I am looking forward to ensuring that we can discuss performance and other areas that needs improvement for the organization. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.